Hello everyone, in this opportunity we are going to talk about an important topic that is curricular thread. To begin with, it's necessary to understand that the curriculum is a plan that says how students are going to be taught in school. In this case, it's a plan to teach English to students in Ecuador. Who is this curriculum for? For students of Educación General Básica, that is from 2nd to 10th grade, and for the Bachillerato General Unificado, which includes the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd year, whose mother tongue is not English. Now, we know that Ecuador is a diverse country and therefore has a wide cultural richness. That is why the curriculum has an inclusion approach, recognizing that not all students speak Spanish, since there are monolingual, multilingual students, and others who speak little or no Spanish. Why is it important? Because it helps students learn English so that they can communicate with people from other countries and cultures in a globalized use it out through curricular threads, which are specific topics or areas that are used to organize and structure the content of the curriculum. These guide teaching and learning consistently and effectively, and are communication and cultural awareness, oral communication, reading, writing, language through the arts, which will be exposed later with their respective subthreads.
Now let's see the curricular thread number 1, communication and cultural awareness. As its name says, it is the exposure of the culture, either foreign of ours, and how we give way to the interconnection between them through communication. To this subdivided into two types. The first is intercultural awareness unidentified. Being able to speak through various languages helps to communication between different cultures and allows to bridge of information between them to know their virtues, similarities, and differences. In the case of a Spanish-speaking child and an English-speaking child, communication and sharing their knowledge, it helps globalization and understanding of each culture rich in knowledge. From there, the second subtype we have social competence and values. It is based on tolerance and respect towards the rest of students and people. This subtype encompasses being reciprocal and empathetic with the rest that surrounds us. In this way, students learn to work in teams and accept that other opinions on a topic also deserve to be heard and taken into account. It teaches them to be actively social and respectful with other classmates to achieve goals in a comparative manner.
Continuing with the curricular threads, here we have the second one focuses on oral communication, where the fundamental bases are speaking and listening. Below we present three subtypes into which it's divided. First, listening skills. They related to complex processes where short and long-term memory and learning meanings are assigned through the students' listening ability in English. The use of ICT tools is recommended to implement a more effective learning methods. Second, spoken production. The goal here is to improve speech fluency through engaging activities. For instance, in the IGV education levels, students will repeating phrases spoken by the teacher without understanding what they're saying. Listening skills are greatly developed until at higher levels, students can listen, speaking, and evaluate a new language. Third, spoken interaction. This subtype is rooted in practices real situation. Okay, collaborates work is emphasized, allowing the student to interact with each other, engage in enhancing their social skills while learning new vocabulary. They also gain confidence in speaking with correct pronunciation, whether verbally or non verbally. Now, we will explore the third curricular thread called reading. Its goal is to help students understand the text they read and grasp their meanings. To achieve this, it's divided into three subtypes. The first subtype is literacy in rich environments. This subtype promotes the acquisition of both writing and spoken language, supporting vocabulary development and learning in authentic context. Its main characteristics include use of visual resources such as word walls, classroom levels, and displays of student work, access to classroom libraries and ICT tools, participation in activities like poetry, recitals, book contents, and story creation, which enrich learning and encourages interaction with the language. We will continue with the reading comprehension. This aspect is essential for students to develop skills like critical thinking, communication, and analysis. Through strategies such as skimming, scanning, and making inference, students can interpret text without relying on literal translations. Let's continue with the use resources and to the skills. This style focuses on teaching students how to make and utilize various tools such as online platform, libraries, and printed material. These resources and students to organize and analyze information, definitely forwarding and critical thinking and evaluation of the sources. Interdisciplinary content. Learning with subjects like science, mathematics, and history, creating authentic, engaging educational content. This meaningful connection facilitates knowledge retention and development of linguistic skills by addressing academic topic in a comprehensive and practical way. Thank you. The core of the curricular thread is empower students by providing them with the necessary tools to interact with the text autonomously and meaningful. This approach promotes literacy as a key tool for personal expression, critical thinking, and effective communication in a global context. Through solid reading comprehension strategies, effective use of resources, and interdisciplinary integration, students not only engage their linguistic abilities. Thank you so much.
Curriculum Thread 4. Writing. Writing is an intellectual act which must be developed gradually and progressively. It takes into account intellectual act, thinking about what to say and how to say it. Author's intention, to know the purpose of writing. Necessary knowledge, knowing vocabulary, types of text, organization. Knowing the audience, knowing who you are writing for. Manipulation of the writing code refers to the correct use of grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Although the curriculum separates the four English skills, they are all connected to each other. For example, when you read, you learn new vocabulary that can be used in writing. It's divided into two parts, initial literacy and text. Initial literacy is the first step in learning to read and write, essential for students to communicate effectively. Although it is fundamental in education, its development can be complicated, especially in a second language. L2. Factors influencing initial literacy. The nature of the mother tongue, L1, previous experience in reading and writing in L1, knowledge of the foreign language, the age of the students. These factors are important because learning a new language often involves transferring skills from L1 to L2, which can be helpful or problematic. Teaching literacy in English as a foreign language should focus on oral communication as well as the development of literacy skills. For example, identifying and naming the letters of the alphabet, or forming simple words such as cat, dog, and others. Text production. It focuses on the elaboration of meaningful and organized writings with initial literacy as a requirement and emphasizes on students' interest and communicational needs. Writing as a communicational tool involves the interaction between the writer, the text, and the reader. It's used to transmit information considering the context, purpose, and audience. It helps foster cognition skills such as analyzing, comparing, and classifying, allowing them to work at higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy, such as analyzing, evaluating, and creating. It encourages students to use language creatively and critically, and highlights the use of text. Important aspects of writing: mechanics of writing, spelling, and design according to the type of text. For example, create a short story in English or write a descriptive text about a favorite food in English.
Now we have the curricular thread number 5, language through the arts. Within this curriculum thread, it is made clear that education not only works to prepare children for the future, but also to make them in their present life. It also mentions that the most effective way to involve this learning is with the four occupations of chico: conversation, inquiry, making things, and artistic expression. In this way, the arts are basic of the fundamental of EFL. There is sometimes have been created from this curriculum. The first of these is literary text in context. In this subtime we have as basis a literary text, which have a holistic approach to learning and provide reading imagination for students who while reading can make sense and coherence to the story that they are reading. In this way, students not only enjoy good stories, but also enrich their vocabulary and grammar in a new foreign language. It is important to keep in mind that any literary text can be helpful for the oral practice of the new language and encourage students to love reading from an early age. The second subtype we have is creative writing. The emphasis is on how students can express what they feel, their emotions, longings, goals, and dreams through writing. This is obviously related to a literary text from which inspiration can be taken to create poems, verses, short stories, or even song lyrics. This subtype is efficient because in this way, not only writing is practiced, but also the use of the foreign language in English. And finally, we have the third subtype, which is creative thinking skills. As it has already been said, art combined with education is a good mix in which students learn in a better way to be using an art that they like, such as dance, painting, music, reading, writing, etc. Here we talk about how an art education motivates the students to express their emotions and feelings while developing skills such as taking risks and opportunities, self-confidence, self-esteem, and being aware of their surroundings. And the best part of this is that while the students discover through art who they really are, they also continue to learn English and adapt it to their everyday life more and more, reinforcing their knowledge in speaking, writing, listening, and reading. The creative thinking skills that the students end up developing are several. Among them is the ability to solve problems, generate and expose ideas, learn from their mistakes, take risks, trust themselves, and imagine solutions as quickly as possible.